Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter.
This video is our season 4 episode 18 preview. This is the finale, the end of the road for now. As of this recording, it is currently scheduled to air next week. Just, keep in mind with everything going on in the world, things are changing very rapidly with schedules. But
only one more left, guys.
only one more left. It is entitled Strangers Part 2, which is, you could do just 10 hours of discussion about that and that alone, but we know sort of the basic idea of what this episode could be. We've heard teases over time, so we're going to break down everything we know about the finale in this video. We're recording this before the promo has aired. We'll probably do a promo discussion at some point down the line, but before we dive in here further, if you do enjoy this discussion, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. Let's start, though, with that title, because as you and I know, Strangers was the start of this season, and in that premiere, we met Malik, we met Cassidy, and we saw Baby Jack as an adult.
Yeah, and now in the finale, we are going to be seeing Baby Jack's first birthday, so he will be back. We have theorized that maybe we'll see Cassidy again. Maybe we will see Malik again. My theory, though, is that the name of this episode, Strangers Part 2, is actually referring to, and I hate to say this, Kevin and Randall. I think that this is where, we've been building and building and building towards a big feud. There's going to be a big falling out, where it's probably going to be here, and that these two are basically going to become strangers there. I said it. It's terrible, but that's what I think is going on. And we're going to have a lot of sadness over the summer.
Yeah, it does not feel like this is going to be a happy finale by any means.
No.
We have everything that's going on with Kevin and Randall. It seems pretty clear that if there is a big blow up or just like inflection point, this is going to be where it happens. This is going to be where everything hits the fan. And then beyond just that, we also have still kind of the ambiguous future of Kate and Toby. We don't know if that is going to come to pass in here. We also just have the reality of Rebecca's condition. We're throwing on there that as well. It is a lot to take in.
Yeah, it is. And there is only this one last episode to kind of wrap a little bit of it up, but also, of course, this is us, so they're going to give us some more stuff to make us think about.
Yeah, and if we're to sort of say, okay, what are some other ideas for the title? I think yours is a good one. That's not a one I want to think about because it makes me sad, but I think there's a chance that could be correct. We could be seeing a look at the original crop of strangers again. I don't know how you bring Cassidy back unless she actually is the person Kevin ends up with, which supposedly we're going to learn who that is. At least, I don't know if I should even say ends up with, but we're going to learn who he is the mother of his kid in this finale. So maybe that is some sort of evidence for that. Beyond just that, though, maybe we're going to meet new people. Maybe this is actually an introduction to someone else, or maybe if it's Sophie, who is the fiancée, could she be one of the strangers? That feels kind of weird because we already know her, but anything's possible.
Well, one of the other strangers that I'm thinking it might be coming in is Kevin's son. Like, we don't even know what his name is. We're all just Kevin's son.
Yeah.
And so he has no name. We've seen him for like a second walking by with like a video game or something. Like, we don't know anything about him. We don't know who the mother is. We just know that he's Kevin's son. So maybe this is one of the strangers. At the beginning we had Baby Jack as one of the strangers, and we got to know him a little bit. Maybe we are going to get to know Kevin's son a little bit.
I think it's pretty clear that there's a mighty tall order that the writers have to try to deliver this. And I think what makes all this even more difficult, and you alluded to it, the main setting of the episode seems to be Jack's birthday. And, this should be a really happy occasion. You're talking about a baby who's turning a year old, and the whole Pearson family should want to come together and celebrate all of that. And this is what I think makes me extra afraid, is the idea that this blow up between Kevin and Randall could actually end up happening right in the middle of this party.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about it. It's obviously not the place for it, but when something like this is going to come up, it's going to come up wherever it's going to come up. And with something that was built up in this past episode where we saw Randall make a breakthrough that he's faced a lot, losing 3 parents. He wants to have an opportunity to maybe save his mom and change the future a little bit, if that's at all possible, which we have seen in the future, and it's not possible. So she's making this decision based on Randall asking her to please do this clinical trial. He's explained it out through tears, looking at her family. She has decided to do this. So she is basically sacrificing the wants of everybody else in the family who has accepted what she wanted. She's sacrificing her own wants to give Randall what he needs. And that is what mothers do. Mothers do sacrifice themselves to make sure that their children get what they need, and she's doing that in this case as well. However, she does have 2 other children. Kate hasn't really seemed to weigh in one way or another. I mean, they first talked about this trial thing with Randall, and she was kind of like, okay, whatever you guys want. Which is a whole other discussion. I think it's a little bit strange. I understand she has some other stuff going on, but they all have other stuff going on. Like, she does have a special needs baby, but then, you know, Randall has 3 kids, and like Kevin has his own stuff going on. Like, everybody has something. So it was a little bit surprising not to see her weighing in on it more, but that's a discussion for another time. Anyways, Kevin does have more of an opinion of what's going on, and he wanted to just support what his mom wants. So I'm sure he's going to see this as, I don't know, just too hard of a push. He might see it as manipulation, even though that isn't how I see it. I see it as Randall wanting to be honest and tell her how much it actually means to him. And if she still says no, that I think Randall would have been okay with it. But I just don't know how this is really going to play out for Kevin.
I don't either, and I am very afraid of the idea that Kevin's gonna find out in the middle of this birthday party. It's gonna cause a whole scene. It's gonna force everyone on the family to take sides one way or another, and that's a really impossible position to put people in. The other sort of question mark that comes after all this, because I think it's pretty clear there's a lot of sadness that's going to be in this episode, we're sort of left with this question now of, are we going to get a look far into the future again? Because I feel like This Is Us, they've been fairly conscious of the fact that people still need some sort of hope for some people in the midst of all of this. That their show, while very sad, is not always entirely sad. So is it then possible that after everything we're going to go through, which could be very horrible, will they reveal something big at the very end of this episode? Like, let's say, for example, Kate shows up in the future timeline and we no longer have to worry about her being dead.
She's not dead.
I hope she's not dead.
I don't think she's dead. But I do think Miguel is dead.
I think
so.
Yeah.
We'll see that. But yeah, I think that they are going to revisit that future timeline again. They have revisited it at least, the one time with Kevin. I mean, I think they are going to go back to that again and give us a little bit more. I don't think they're going to give us everything, but I think they will give us enough to have us talking over the summer and crying at the end of this episode. Yeah, they do want to give us a little bit of hope, and I think they're at least going to be able to give us a couple of happy moments at the birthday party before it goes sideways.
Yeah, fingers crossed on all of this. I'm thinking back to the Randall and Beth problems that they were going through, and they made us really worried for a long time. But in the end, they gave us a little bit of hope that they would find a way to go back to each other. They were going to be happy in the future. I think we're going to get some sort of reminder that far in the future, Kevin and Randall will be there for each other. They will be happy. And that this too shall pass. It's just not going to pass soon enough that it's going to be happy in the finale.
That's the main thing that I want to come out of this finale knowing. Like, if you're going to break our hearts and put us through all this turmoil of watching Kevin and Randall become strangers, I've seen enough in the futures of This Is Us where we saw Randall show up at the house. We saw Kevin show up a little bit later. We haven't seen them really have enough of a connection. If you guys can just give me that in the finale, just give me them talking, a hug, a handshake, anything that lets me know that maybe they've been talking a little bit. Just give me something. Like they did when Randall came in and kissed Beth, and it was like, oh, okay, so everything's actually okay, and you guys took us on a ride to nowhere with that.
Just give us hope. We need hope. This show it's sad enough as it is in other parts. I want some hope there. I want to see Kevin happy with his fiancée. I want to know who it is. I want to have to worry about that anymore. We will definitely, though, have a lot more to discuss about the finale in the coming days leading to it airing. So stay tuned. Give us your early thoughts and theories on it in the comments. And if you did enjoy this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store. And we'll see you here next time.